love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, just give me up, don't
Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros live stream start sit for Thursday. That's right, it's week 15 in the NFL. It's playoffs. It's round one. Thanks for being here with us all season. And now part one of our job is done. We've done it. We've gotten to the playoffs. Now we've got to win those championships for the next 3 weeks. That's all we're going to focus on. And the work begins here today with my good pal Andrew Erickson. Of course, Chris behind the scenes. You can't see him, but he's ever looming here. The presence of Chris is always felt. He's in the building.
Got a big smile on. He's excited.
Huge smile. He's just so happy to be here. He's so energetic. He just can't get enough. He's like, hey, can we add a couple more weeks to the season? I said, Chris, I love your passion, but we're going to end it here when it's supposed to end. But we'll see. He has a lot of swing around these parts, so we'll see what happens. So again, if you've got questions, we've got answers. Drop them in the chat. As always, we're here to help you out. Andrew Erickson and I just recorded a full 45-minute podcast regarding the starts and sits of the week. And the big takeaways here, especially the wide receiver side of things, is we have had it with Mike Evans. We are sitting Mike Evans. I want to start there because that's a big name that I know a lot of people still have, and they're looking at their lineups, and every week they keep running him out there. But in the playoffs, we just can't trust him. He hasn't scored a touchdown since, was it week 4? Is that what it was? Yeah. And he hasn't had double-digit points in God knows how long. Enough is enough. Erickson, I know you laid out a great groundwork about sitting Mike Evans this week in favor of guys like Christian Watson, who we all love, maybe even some guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones also. So let's talk about Mike Evans, and let's talk about what we have to do here in the playoffs, starting with letting go some big names and making sure we have big points instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's do or die. It's a 1 week. That's all that really matters this week. It's not about what they've done, the entire season. It's a matter, and, you've gotten to your fantasy playoffs with Mike Evans on your roster, not because of him. Despite of him, you've gotten to the fantasy football playoffs. So if you've been playing him every single week, you can move off a guy. And it's weird, the one time that you bench a player that you're afraid to sit and then they don't do anything, it's like, I did it. I don't need to play this guy anymore. You feel so relieved that he didn't burn you because you sat him. But I'm just telling you right now, permission granted, to sit Mike Evans. It's just not going to happen. Nothing's changing. He's not seeing targets in the offense, and they're throwing the ball a ton. It doesn't even matter. So they can't move the ball downfield. So even when Mike Evans is getting targets, they're not of any high value, and we're not seeing this team orchestrate any touchdown drives. I think the Bengals are going to blow the doors off of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're two teams that are going in totally different directions. The Bengals are a rocket to the moon, and the Buccaneers are trying to see how many games they can lose and still win the division. That's where we're at with these two teams. So I would try to get away from Buccaneers players if I can, for the most part, and that includes Mike Evans. Godwin at least has probably a safer floor because he gets more targets. But besides that, just say no to Bucks.
Guys we are saying yes to, though, besides Donovan Peoples-Jones, Elijah Moore, Michael Pittman Jr., those are some of the names you highlighted in the podcast just recently. So let's talk about those guys, too, because we feel like these are good matchups. Against the Lions, we want to get those Jets guys in there. Against the Minnesota Vikings, you want to load up on some of these Colts, like Paris Campbell, another guy, too, that we think is in play. So at this point, it does become a little hyper-focused in terms of matchup, Erickson. But I think we always say start your studs, right? But when you have these guys who are on the fringe, we're trying to decide, this is where the matchups really come into play. And these are a couple matchups that look really good for guys like Moore and Pittman.
Yeah, and I think too, when you're talking about should I chase the upside, like you need upside in these playoff matchups because you're playing good teams. Like if you're the 8th seed and you're up against the number 1 seed, chances are they're a juggernaut. Like you can't afford to play a bunch of floor guys. So that's when you go after the Gabe Davises. You go after Elijah Moore. Yeah, there is a shaky floor because they're wide receivers, but you don't need to play a running back in a bad matchup. Well, they're going to get 10 to 12 touches. They're probably going to be like 5 to 10 points. Like that's not going to help you. Like you need the guys that can get 30 points. And a lot of the time that's receivers, not necessarily running back. So Michael Pittman's a great matchup against the Vikings. That's why we like Paris Campbell as a deeper sleeper too. Because look, also you want to factor in, it's in a dome game. Like weather is going to start to play a role now in the wintertime when it's cold out. We're seeing that with the Dolphins and Bills game. We're starting to see some wind picking up in the Cleveland and Ravens game. So that could potentially affect, DPJ. So some things to keep in mind as you're setting your lineup when you're trying to capture the most upside, especially if you are a big underdog, which is easy to tell. Like if you're the 8th seed up against the number 1, then you kind of know, okay, I need to shoot for the moon here.
All right. If you've got questions, we've got answers. Drop them in the chat, but you can only do that if you're a subscriber of the Fantasy Bros YouTube channel. And I know that most of you are already, but if you're not, there's still time. Go be a subscriber, drop your questions in there. And if you do that, you click the little bell till it goes ding for notifications, and you're a good boy and girl for Christmas this year and you like the stream, guess what? You could win this Trayvon Diggs autographed mini helmet. It's a tiny little helmet for your little head. Right here from pristineauction.com. Again, they're giving that away just for being here and asking questions and being part of the Fantasy Pros family. It's adorable. You can put it on the elf on the shelf, take a picture with it, and the kids go, oh, look at that. The little elf is a Cowboys fan. Yay. But look, it's something nice we're doing here. We're giving away free stuff, so go get it. Again, Trayvon Diggs autographed mini helmet. Tiny, tiny little helmets, okay, for mini people. Okay, let's get to your questions here. Let's start with Crystal Richardson, full PPR. Olave or Christian Watson in the flex? Thanks, guys. It's Christian Watson for me. I love Chris Olave. Absolutely love the player. Big fan. Very excited about him next year when he has hopefully a better quarterback situation. Right now, Christian Watson is on a tear. He's coming off a bye. He's got a great matchup against the Rams. There's no way I'm not playing Watson everywhere I have him this week, Andrew. What are your thoughts?
I agree. Christian Watson for me.
All right. Ryan Garcia, do I start Cam Akers or Ken Walker? We legitimately just had this conversation about Ken Walker on the pod too. I'm going down with the ship here with Ken Walker. He gets the goal line work. If San Francisco doesn't have Purdy and they're down to Josh Johnson, I don't know exactly what this offense is going to be. Not that I loved it under Purdy and all of a sudden it was prolific, but I think there could be a little bit more in play here for San Francisco than we realize, especially on the road. I'm playing Ken Walker here. As long as he has gotten that full practice in, this is the way I want to go. I know this is a huge game here for Seattle. What are your thoughts here about Ken Walker versus Cam Akers? We like the Akers situation too, but Walker feels like an RB too, and Cam Akers feels like a flex play at best.
I mean, I'm just looking at roles for the players. Ken Walker is a 3-down bell cow. That's not Cam Akers' role. Like the thing with Cam Akers, the reason that I'm somewhat hesitant to just buy all into the matchup against the Packers is, well, if Aaron Rodgers goes out and throws 3 touchdowns and the Rams are down 21-0, Cam Akers is on the bench. Like he's like not even in the game. So like there's a very scary floor with Cam Akers that is not necessarily factored into, oh, well, the matchup on paper is really good. Yeah. But with Ken Walker, okay, you have a young quarterback. Brock Purdy is going to start in this game per Mike Mayer, despite the oblique injury. So we got that news.
Yes, Insider Mike Mayer. You got to follow him on Twitter.
Yep. Insider Mike Mayer. So look, Brock Purdy's still a young quarterback on a short week against a divisional rival. What if he throws an interception, fumbles the ball? Okay, now the ball's at the 1-yard line. Who's getting it? Oh, Ken Walker. So yeah, I agree with Ken Walker here. Like there are some other names that I think are, you could start over Ken Walker, but Cam Akers would not be one of them.
I agree. Can't get there. All right, let's get to the next question here on our illustrious list. We have Lucilo Torres, wide receiver 2, Olave or Higgins. Getting a lot of Higgins questions this week. I'm worried about the Higgins health. I know you talked about the Bengals smashing them, but what do you think here? Are you worried about Higgins? You want to play Olave? You think it's safer?
Yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to floor ceiling play. I think Olave is a way safer play. I think that the Falcons secondary is a little bit underrated. AJ Terrell's been playing much better, especially when he's in shadow coverage, as Derek Brown has brought up in the primer and in many shows this week. So if Olave catches AJ Terrell shadow coverage, we could see him limited and not have a high ceiling. Whereas T. Higgins, look, the Buccaneers may not have Jamel Dean in this matchup. We know the Buccaneers are a pass funnel defense, and the Bengals are more than happy to throw the ball all over the place. So if T. Higgins is not hurt, like, you would be starting him with confidence. And that's why people are hesitant, because they're not sure about the injury. But if he is healthy, like, I would easily start Higgins over Olave. So it's, if you want the floor, I think Olave is the play. If you're a big underdog, I think you shoot for the moon with Higgins.
There you have it. All right, let's go to the next one here. Anthony Riccia, OG here of the show. All right, guys, I'm in a pickle here. Do I start Gabe Davis, Treylon Burks if he plays, or Rashad White in the full PPR? I'll give you need the floor points here in the full PPR. Rashad White's the play here. Just take the points and get out. If you're swinging for the fences, it's Gabe Davis. The Treylon Burks thing is just tough to gauge, because even if he does play,
he's playing. He's not.
I don't think he's going
already.
to either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't seem like it's trending in that direction. So that's kind of my assessment. What do you think?
Yep, I think exactly what it is. I mean, White obviously gets a boost because it is full PPR as opposed to half, and he has a safe floor. But, look, it's really easy to also figure out if you're an underdog this week, like, what's the seeding? Like, if you were the 8 seed against the 1, like, you got to play Gabe Davis. But if you're
if you're playing against Patrick Mahomes this week, you probably want to play Gabe Davis. A lot of this, and we had a big discussion about Gabe Davis on the pod just now, and talking about, the situations and the context. The context matters for Gabe Davis starting this week, and I think that's very important. That's what we're highlighting here. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, no, I think with Gabe Davis, this is a good spot for him, though. In general, I think all things considered, if this person is indifferent in terms of ceiling / floor, I think I always just generally shoot for the ceiling anyway. Like, so I would probably play Gabe Davis, and this is a matchup he should be able to win. We're going to see Xavier Howard shadow coverage Stephon Diggs, which means Gabe Davis should have the opportunity against a much worse cornerback on the other side. Just a matter of, how often are the Bills going to throw the ball downfield? They haven't really done that much with Josh Allen ever since his injury. So that's one concern, but it should be a good game for Gabe Davis here. So I'm probably going to lean him.
All right, let's get to the next one here. We have Girthy Geese. Christmas only happens this year if I set the right 2 players this week. Well, this is a tough one, Girthy, but we'll do our best. DK, Pacheco, Devonta Smith, Joe Mixon, Christian Watson. So you only pick 2 from this list. You must have a pretty good team already. I am inclined to look at Joe Mixon, and I'm inclined to look at Christian Watson. That's kind of where my brain goes. I understand the dilemma here. I love Pacheco this week too. Do you see this differently? You want to go Pacheco over Mixon? Are we there? Have we gotten to that point?
No, I don't think so. Both guys are splitting touches with another capable running back. So I'm going to lean on the guy that I think is better, and that's Joe Mixon. And I actually prefer DK Metcalf. I mean, the guy's been an absolute monster this entire season. So I'm going to play Metcalf and Mixon.
Okay. Next tier up on the slate, we've got David Berry, half PPR, Dak or Fields. Look, guys, if Fields is playing,
he's
play
on the field.
If he is on the field, you have to play Justin Fields. I don't care if he's got a runny nose. I don't care if whatever it is. Like, his minimum ceiling is a rushing touchdown and 75-yard rushing. After that, everything else is gravy. I mean, he is basically in bad games giving you 21 points. Dak's best game lately has been 21 points. It's not close for me, Andrew. And I keep getting all these questions. That's why I'm in the spot I'm in, or I'm losing my mind. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I have Fields ranked ahead of Dak. I think that, I really like this Bears-Eagles. I think that the Eagles are just going to absolutely destroy the Bears here, but that means Fields is going to have opportunities trying to play catch-up to run around and rack up points. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So I think Fields is easily the best play here.
Okay, easily the best play. Let's go. The captain, James T. Kirk. Help guys start Elijah Moore or Josh Palmer. It's Elijah Moore for me. Let's play against those Vikings, the Lions, rather, excuse me. That's what we're looking for. I think this kind of takes care of itself here with so many other guys back and healthy for the Chargers. As much as I like Palmer, I think Elijah Moore has far more upside potentially. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Elijah Moore, just less competition right now. Palmer is the number 3 receiver. Elijah Moore is the number 2 receiver. Obviously, the Chargers throw a lot, so it's not like they say that Josh Palmer's like a horrible play this week, but I think Moore is in a better spot.
Okay. Next here up is, what do we have? We have Ronald L., Cole Kmet, or Greg Dulcich. This one's easy for me. I'm going right to Cole Kmet, who's on the field all the time. You know how much I really love Justin Fields. When Fields is on the field with Cole Kmet, there's touchdown equity for him. Greg Dulcich is playing with Brett Rippon. I can't say much more than that. So what are your thoughts?
Well, Russell Wilson is expected to play. That's the latest that I saw on
Mhm.
him. So that is a boost for Greg Dulcich. But we've seen Dulcich, have a really good role this season and have games where he just absolutely does nothing. Whereas Cole Kmet, he's the number one receiver on the Bears right now. Like Chase Claypool is going to get Darius Slay, he's going to get James Bradbury, and he's still learning the playbook. So Kmet just has such a super high floor that I would just feel comfortable locking him in. I know the matchup is great for Dulcich against the Cardinals, who are horrible against tight ends. But I just don't want to take a 0 at tight end. I want to just, if you take Cole Kmet, you're going to get 10, 15 points. I think you're going to feel good about it.
All right, next here we have, let's see, we have Jacob Phillips, Aiyuk or Devonta Smith in the flex full PPR.
I'm going with Devonta Smith.
Me too. Just can't get there. Who he didn't. Standard. Pick 2 from Walker, Etienne, Kirk, and DPJ.
I'm going to play the running backs.
Okay, I'm playing Walker and Kirk. That's what I'm doing here. Walker and Kirk for me. Kirk has earned it. Travis Etienne, I can't take L's, can't take zeros, can't take 3s and 4s.
Wait, so why? But what's the
I know it's a standard. I get
what's
it.
the difference between Walker and Etienne?
Walker has more touchdown equity for sure, I think.
Against the 49ers?
Don't give against up touchdowns? The 49ers. They don't, but again, this is week 15 now, and I'm going to swing. If I'm going to swing for one of these 2 running backs, I'm going to swing for Walker, and then I'm looking for more upside because I'm worried about both those running backs, and I think Christian Kirk can have a good day against Dallas. I really do. Playing out of the slot is a good situation. We just talked about that matchup and what it would be.
It's fair.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I think Walker and Etienne are like pretty similar.
Yeah, except Etienne hasn't done much in the last
Walker
couple
hasn't
weeks.
done anything either before he got hurt.
I understand. But Walker, before he got hurt,
wasn't doing
at least
anything.
giving you some big plays and some big issues in there. Look, again, this is just a matter of preference too. Usage, commitment to the player. I'm going with Walker here. If I'm going down with the ship, it's Walker and Kirk for me. I get why you want to play both the running backs. That's fine. I'm going to try to diversify it a little bit. Jacob Phillips, Aiyuk or Devonta Smith in the flex full PPR?
We did this one already, but Devonta Smith again.
My bad. Sorry, Brian. Sorry, folks. It's week 15. Brian Kothra. Sounds like Mothra. There you go. I like that he actually put that in there. Well done. Bench 1, Geno versus San Fran, Tua versus Buffalo, Rodgers versus Rams. Who's the odd man out?
I'm not playing Tua. Sorry.
I think you are correct. I would agree. Tone. We got Aiyuk, Curtis Samuel, or Higgins in the flex spot.
I'm going with Higgins.
Okay. Khazri Lamont. Dallas or Denver defense this week? Dallas for me. How about you?
Denver's playing.
They're not a good fantasy defense. I don't care. They're not a good fantasy defense.
I'm going to play Denver.
I'm playing the number 2 fantasy defense. That's what I'm doing. Playing the number 2 fans, the Dallas Cowboys. Sam, wide receiver 2, full PPR, Foreman, Latavius Murray, Jeff Wilson Jr., Michael Carter, James Cook. It's ugly. Foreman's definitely in. Who's the other one you want to get in there?
It's probably Latavius Murray, just by the workload he's going to get. I don't think Jeff Wilson's going to play. Michael Carter fumbled last week, and James Cook, I just don't know what the Bills are doing with the running backs. So, yeah, Foreman and Murray.
Tom, if Damian Harris is a go this week, start Pierre Strong Jr.? Question mark.
If Damian Harris is a no-go, he says.
Is a no-go this week. You start Pierre Strong. Sorry.
I think Strong would be the guy I would prefer to play if Damian Harris doesn't play. Damian Harris was limited on Wednesday, so I'm leaning towards him probably being a play. He warmed up before the game on Monday night last week, so that's usually a good indication that he's closer to returning. So, yeah, but if he's not active, then, yeah, Pierre Strong would be my highest ranked Patriots running back.
All right, this is from Matt Byer. Thanks for the advice to help secure the number 1 seed. Full PPR. Start Waller or Okonkwo at tight end.
Well, I don't know if Waller's going to play. So
I don't care. Even if he plays, I'm not starting him. I've had it. No. Not doing it. I'm not going to give my fantasy championship up to a guy, my hopes and dreams to a guy who hasn't played all year, who's been hurt constantly. I can't do it. Take my shots with the Mr. Economical Chiga Okonkwo. Garrett Johnson, by the way, which is still easier to say than Albert Okoibunam. So, whatever happened to that guy? Remember him? That was a thing.
Hey, he's still a good guy to own a dynasty because he's athletic. And you see how it plays out. New team, whole new outlook.
Well, he's going to be on American Gladiators or Ninja Warrior or something maybe. But other than that,
XFL.
XFL is great. Garrett Johnson, sit Waddle. It depends on for who, Garrett. I mean, these questions in a vacuum are tough. But let's talk about Waddle. He has struggled lately. People have been saying the book is out on Tua. He likes to throw the ball in the middle field. You take that away, make him throw it to the, sideline area. It's a little harder here for him. Do you think that Waddle is a guy that you could sit? Do you have him lower in your rankings this week?
Yeah, I mean, he's in the wide receiver 2 territory. The thing is that he still is very explosive with the ball in his hands, so it only takes like 1 or 2 plays for him to rip off a massive gain. So, yeah, it really does depend on like what you're looking. I mean, I think I kind of view him similar to I'd probably play him over Mike Evans. I don't like Mike Evans this week, but I'd probably play Waddle over him. So, yeah, he's obviously been disappointing, but he's not going to go out there and get 0 points. So,
Cole Jurek. Are we starting Dallas Goedert this week? That's a question there.
I would start him. I mean, unless I have a top 5 tight end, then I'm going to start Dallas Goedert over any streaming guy.
Will you start him over Driscoll in Yahoo leagues?
Yeah, I would probably start him over Driscoll, I think.
All right.
Feel good about Goddard.
All right. Rowdy Frowdy. Geno or Tua? It's Geno for me. Nobody wants to start Geno. I've got more Geno Smith questions in the last 24 hours than all year. I'm starting Geno. Let's go.
Yeah, I would play Geno.
They got caught looking ahead a little bit. They knew they saw Carolina Panthers. They didn't take him seriously. They got caught napping a little bit. They didn't take him where they should have, and now next thing you know, you have a loss, and you're looking ahead to the 49ers. So bad job by them. I think they're ready. I think they're salty. I think they want to take on the 49ers. Dave Knight, Swift or Dobbins?
Dobbins for me.
I would agree. Mark Fierro, which tight end? Kittle versus Seattle, Dulcich versus Arizona, or Evan Engram against the Dallas Cowboys?
I'm playing George Kittle.
Even if it's Josh Johnson?
It's not Josh Johnson. Brock Purdy's starting.
He is starting.
Yes.
All right.
That is confirmed by Mike Mayer. Unless Mike Mayer's lying to me.
Oh, well, when did that get confirmed? I thought
I talked about it like 10 minutes ago, didn't I?
I know. I got a lot of balls in the air.
It's fair.
I'm a half listen to you most of the time on a good day. That's on a good day. And yes, and the balls in the air are brought to you by My Playbook, actually. That's who it's brought to you, all the balls in the air. Because if you've got so many balls in the air and you need to somehow look at all these different lineups and you need to get all the information you need My Playbook. Download the app. It's free. Did I mention it's free to download the app? Because it's free. FantasyPros.com/myplaybook, or go to the Apple Store, the Google Play Store. I don't think they have it at Kohl's or Macy's or any of those places, but you could check there. But it is My Playbook. Sync your leagues. Use the tools. We've got amazing tools out there. Still, the matchup tools out there is free to use. The cheat sheets are free to use. Help us help you to a fantasy championship. Again, FantasyPros.com/myplaybook. All right, next here we have Brandon Cadiz, full PPR, Hollywood, Hubbard, Chark, or Okonkwo. I think I'm going to play Hollywood here.
Yeah, I think probably lean towards Hollywood there. Denver has been a little bit more leaky in their secondary. So, yeah, I go with Hollywood.
All right. Next up here is Hardy Asbel. Hey, Fantasy Pros, bros. Full PPR, start Burkhead or White. I don't think Pierce is going to play. I don't think either.
Yeah, no, he's been listed as doubtful. So, and I mean, I saw reports that he's going to miss 1 to 2 weeks. So I think it's very unlikely that he plays. So I will go with Rachaad White here. I don't want any part of Rex Burkhead, to be totally honest. Like, I don't care if Pierce is not playing or not.
No, I would definitely play White as well. It's not close for me. Sean Donahue, Elijah Moore, or Chris Moore?
Elijah Moore. I'm going to play just with the Chris Moore thing. It looks like Brandon Cooks came back to practice today. We'll see if he's been playing, how involved he is. Nico Collins is still probably going to be out. He still hasn't practiced. But I would still go with Elijah Moore.
Okay. Let's go to Rick Aldana. Goff or Mike White in the full PPR?
I love the full PPR questions with quarterbacks every single time.
It makes me laugh. I like to say it every time just because it doesn't matter.
I'm going to go with
Unless
Mike
you think
White.
Mike White's going to catch a ball this week, or Jared Goff.
Hey, you never know. But I also update. I know you asked me if I had Brady or Goff ranked higher, and I had Brady at 20. I have Goff at 23. So, yes, I have Brady over Goff.
Okay. In the PPR?
Yes.
See what I did there? See what I did? Okay. Donnie Collins, Walker or McKinnon? I'm starting Walker this week, as McKinnon has been fun, but I'm starting Walker. All right. Let's get some more of the tight end discussion here. We had talked a lot about Driscoll on the podcast. If indeed he qualifies there in the crazy leagues like that. Where do you have Okonkwo this week in your rankings? And in terms of relative speak, I know you already said Goddard is back. He's a top 5 option for you. Let's talk about some of the streaming guys and Okonkwo as well. We put Cole Kmet over him. What about Robert Tonyan? I know that's a guy that Debro is high on. Would you put him over Okonkwo or no?
I would not put Robert Tonyan over Chig Okonkwo. I mean, Robert Tonyan doesn't have like a great role in his offense either. And we just saw a tight. I know that Debro talked about how the Rams are a good matchup for tight ends. Well, it didn't work last week with Foster Moreau, who scored 0 points, who scored 0 points last week against the Rams. So clearly, yes, it is a good matchup on paper, but it's not necessarily a given that he's going to score points. And look, all those Packers guys are healthy. Like Watson's healthy, Lazard is healthy, Cobb is healthy, Aaron Jones is healthy. So yeah, I mean, I would roll with Chig over Robert Tonyan. Again, I said I have him at tight end 17, but he's still probably like my top streaming guy potentially off the waiver wire. I'd probably play him over Hunter Henry. I'd still probably play him over like Tyler Conklin, who I do like, but I mean, he's a good player. Like he's making plays, and Burks looks like he's not going to play again. So I think that matters because the last 2 weeks Burks hasn't played, and you've seen Chig's usage increase. His targets have gone up. So if Burks misses, it definitely makes Okonkwo a much stronger play and someone that if you can kind of just keep in your tight end, he's got upside because he is a athletic guy, makes plays after the catch, and they just don't have a lot of pass catchers to throw the ball to in Tennessee.
All right, good stuff there. Let's get to the next question on the board here, and it's a fun one from Brian Perhamos, DPJ or Josh Palmer. Which way are you going there?
I'm going with DPJ.
DPJ it is. PLT. Full PPR, 2 spots available. Pittman, Zay Jones, or Gabe Davis. I think I'd go with Pittman and Jones and just play what I'm trying to get here, which is just get targets, get points, get in and get out.
Yeah, because the thing with Gabe Davis is like his upside is catching a long touchdown. And Pittman and Zay Jones and full PPR, they just get more targets. So they could still reach Gabe Davis's output even if Gabe Davis does catch a long touchdown, because Gabe Davis just capped the amount of targets he gets in his offense. Like he just doesn't see a lot of volume. Whereas Pittman and Zay Jones, that's the one thing they do see. Maybe they don't have as much touchdown upside, but they do get a lot of volume, and that's obviously needs to be ranked or considered more in the full PPR. So yeah, Pittman and Zay Jones for me.
Okay, next question up on the docket is Trey Stanfield. Need 2 wide receivers in a flex in PPR. Kirk, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Godwin, or Dobbins. 2 wide receivers and a flex. So we can agree Watson and Wilson are in, yes?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so where's the flex? Where are you going for that?
I would probably go with Kirk.
Why is Kirk just the same reasoning for me before?
Yeah, I mean, he's again like he gets a lot of volume in his offense. You know, he has some touchdown equity. If Trevon Diggs gets the shadow on Zay Jones, then Kirk obviously has a bigger matchup in the slot. Godwin, I think, is just a worse version of Kirk at this point. Just plays on a worse offense, gets volume, and then Dobbins. Look, I like Dobbins a lot, but he doesn't catch passes, so that doesn't help him in PPR. And as much as I love to just go all in on, okay, yeah, Dobbins is back, like the Ravens backfield. Like we've seen this before with the Ravens where, 1 week it's Kenyon Drake. Oh, he's the lead back. And then it's Gus Edwards the next week. And they do this sometimes. That's very frustrating. I would hope that they don't do that with Dobbins, which is why I think he's still worth starting. But there is that risk that they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to give Gus Edwards more of the ball this week just because they like to change it up sometimes. So Kirk, his role is more locked and loaded. So I like the receivers here.
Yeah, and Diggs won't play him in the slot. That's what you're looking for. All right, let's go to another question here. Let's go to Jazz Pope. Jazz Pope. That's my favorite of all the popes is the Jazz Pope. You know, you expect him to just come out there and just, say a couple prayers, do a couple things. Nope, goes right to the jazz hands, right to the song and dance number. I love the Jazz Pope. Who should I sit? Christian Watson, Keenan Allen, Garrett Wilson. This is a good problem to have. I love all 3 of these guys. Why am I sitting any of them is the question. I can only assume it's a 2 wide receiver league. Jazz, these guys should all be in your lineup. Here's my take for whatever it's worth. Christian Watson, I have a lot of faith in scoring a touchdown. I want touchdowns. Keenan Allen, I have a lot of faith in too. He's been there, done that. The Garrett Wilson variable, although it's a fantastic matchup, if Mike White isn't really 100%, gets hurt again with the ribs, it throws a little wrench into that game, I think, potentially. I know it's not like he can't be good with Joe Flacco. That's how I would go. I would go Watson and Allen, but I think I'm in the minority there. How do you see these two?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not benching Garrett Wilson against the Lions.
So who's out? You're going to bench Watson?
I think I would
hard to bench Keenan Allen.
Dude, it's a kind of like a
really
floor
hard.
Stealing a play. Allen has a way higher floor. than Watson does. Because Watson just doesn't get as many targets as Keenan Allen does, but he's way more upside with the touchdowns. But Keenan Allen doesn't catch a lot of touchdowns either. So
Well, look, if you want to play it safe, it's Allen and Wilson. That's the safe play. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Because Watson does have a little bit more touchdown dependency, but the guy who could catch 2 touchdowns in this group is Christian Watson.
Yeah. So I would say if you're favored in your matchup, play Keenan Allen. If you are an underdog, play Christian Watson. There you go.
Okay, look at that. Andrew Erickson makes everything so simple. You're so good. You're so good. Kirk Carter, Panthers or Cardinals or Browns defense?
Panthers are playing the Steelers, so that's a good matchup. Cardinals are playing the Broncos. Browns are playing the Ravens. I think... I mean, it could be Mason Rudolph at quarterback. And the Panthers, I like the way they play defense. I actually have one of my IDP leagues, Joe. I have 3 Panthers starting in my lineup, and it's been working out pretty well.
Which 3?
One of their linebackers, Chin.
Well, Chin just came back a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Burns.
Yeah, Burns is solid too. Look, man, I think I would go with the Panthers as well. Playing the total, just nothing else, just playing the total of that game, and see if I can get some turnovers, get the quarterback a little bit, maybe a turnover.
If it's Trubisky Trubisky's
if it's Trubisky, it's an automatic. There's an automatic pick in there, if not 2. Which brings me to this point too. What you're looking for are turnovers and scoring upside. If you get a pick and it becomes a pick 6, that's a huge swing for a defense and scoring. So I like the Panthers there more than even the Cardinals or the Browns. McNasty is up. Full PPR. Flex Mike Evans, Christian Watson, Bam Knight, or Pacheco.
Watson.
It's not Mike Evans. I can tell you that. McNasty. McNasty. Mr. Filthy Wubbs. I love Filthy. We haven't seen Filthy Wubbs in a while. Elijah Moore or Lazard, PPR?
Elijah Moore.
Okay. Toxic Mix. Standard. Crazy to flex Zay Jones over Mike Evans going forward? No. It's not crazy. No. This week it's a little tricky, though, because I know Diggs isn't 100%, but if Diggs is in, it does give you pause with Zay Jones, but I'm going to take my shot anyway because Mike Evans has done nothing. He has done nothing, Andrew. And I know you said before about you lined it up, you finally sit the guy and he doesn't do anything. You're like, oh, it's okay. I can actually sit him. But there's that horrible feeling of if I sit Mike Evans this week finally and he does go off and it costs me the playoff, I'll never forgive myself. I get that, but I don't know, man. It's so touchdown dependent right now, and you just haven't seen that. I kind of have to go and try with Zay Jones, but what do you think?
Yeah, Zay Jones is getting volume. That's the first thing you need. Who's getting it more targets in the offense, and that's Zay Jones. And if I think that the Jaguars can move the ball a little bit on Dallas, and this game could be a shootout. Dallas has a good Jaguars defense is horrible. So Dallas is going to put up points, and that's going to force the Jaguars to have to try to keep pace. We'll see if they can do it, but I think it's just way more opportunities with them playing in a negative game script versus the Bucs, who we've seen throw the ball more than any other team, and it hasn't mattered for Mike Evans whatsoever.
Okay. Next here. Oh, by the way, speaking of Trayvon Diggs, don't forget, everybody. Trayvon Diggs autographed helmet. Mini helmet, though, not the full size, because that's very heavy, and shipping this time of year is a lot. So we got the mini helmet instead, which takes up a lot less space. It's a smaller footprint for the environment, less plastic, more economical, but the same great autograph feeling from pristineauction.com. Here's how you got to get entered to win. You subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. You like the stream. You drop a question or comment in the chat. Don't forget liking the stream. That's important too. And click that little bell till it goes ding for notifications so we can notify you if you are the big winner of the Trayvon Diggs autographed little tiny mini helmet. It's elf size for the holidays. All right, let's go to the next question here. Austin Wilhelm. You guys are the best. Thanks, Austin. We love you, man. Need upside flex. Pick 2.5 PPR. Elijah Moore, Rashad White, Chris Moore, Michael Gallup. It's Elijah Moore and Rashad White for me, and I'm not looking back.
It's half PPR. So Elijah Moore, yep. He says upside here.
I don't care. I don't Chris Moore upside. I like Chris Moore. It's not a knock on the kid.
But let's keep this.
I know.
The Chiefs defense got lit up by Russell Wilson last week. The team that could not score on anybody. This Chiefs defense is horrible.
I'm not saying it's not.
So maybe
I'm saying the Texans offense is equally horrible, and they've become now without Dameon Pierce too. They become even more one-dimensional what they can do. So I think they're a lot easier to scheme against. And don't think that they haven't heard about how horrible they've been. Don't think that Steve Spagnuolo, who's been around for freaking decades now and is a really good D coordinator, isn't realizing that they have not played up to the performance they need to for the playoffs. It starts here against the Texans, where you get yourself back on track.
More
Talking
and white
some real
for me
football
then.
here.
Elijah Moore and White for me.
So it was the same thing for you anyway.
Well,
Everybody's asking about Chris Moore.
I
Do you
think
love
Chris Moore
Moore
is an interesting player this week.
Okay,
especially
how interesting is he in your rankings? I want to know how interested you are.
I mean, I think
ECR for Chris Moore is 47.
Well,
ECR 47.
It'll change depending on if Brandon Cooks plays or not, if Nico Collins plays or not. Like, if he's the de facto number one wide receiver against a really bad defense, we saw what he did last week against a very good defense. Like, he should be like in the top. I mean, he's a wide receiver 3, I think.
Okay, just getting the temperature. Just getting the temperature. 40-piece KFC. Ooh, that sounds good right about now. Chris, you want some KFC? Let's order some KFC for everybody here. Let's get everybody gets a buckets of chicken here. Get some biscuits. What sides do you want, Erickson? I know you always watch your carbs, but what sides do you want?
I still like the biscuits.
Still a bit. Well, that comes with it. That's not a side.
Mac and cheese then.
You're mac and cheese guy. Chris, what do you want? You want mac and cheese, or you like the gravy and the mashed potatoes? What do you do? I knew he was going to say coleslaw. Gross.
Got to get the veggies in.
He's that guy that you go to the diner with him and he's like, you eat your pickle and your coleslaw? You're like, no, take it. It's gross. You eat this. Ugh, coleslaw. A whole side of coleslaw. What is that? Why do they give it to you for free? I know, but what? Why do they assume everybody wants it? I mean, think about that. Like, you go to the diner, you go for lunch somewhere, your little thing, and there's a pickle and a coleslaw. Like, the pickle I kind of understand, but that coleslaw, like, what a waste. How many coleslaw they throw away? Nobody eats. I've never seen anybody except Chris eat the coleslaw. Should I bench Barkley or Pacheco? That's the question for Pacheco. That's the question from 48-piece KFC. Barkley for Pacheco. I understand the question. This is a tough one here. I mean, I have a hard time sitting my best player.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna go out with Barkley. But if I feel like rolling the dice on Pacheco, I think Pacheco probably has more upside just because the matchup. He has more upside. Like, I don't think that's a hot take. Barkley has a safer floor because he's involved through all facets of the game where Pacheco is not. Pacheco doesn't catch passes or nearly as much as Barkley. So, I'm probably gonna start Barkley in most cases. But if I'm an underdog and I need some boom, like Pacheco could go 103 touchdowns. Is that gonna happen with Barkley against the Commanders? Probably not.
No. Look, man, I understand where this person's coming from. In the full PPR, I think they'll end up being close anyway because Barkley will probably have a couple catches. If it's half, I get Pacheco. I do. I understand. Actually, that was my bold prediction this week because this is the first game that Pacheco has 100 and a touchdown. He hasn't done both. He had 100 once. He's had some touchdown games. So he hasn't put them all together. I think this is the game where he does. KFC, I get it. Especially if it's a tough matchup too, and you're really afraid of Barkley. I understand. I don't think it's wrong, but it's tough. It's tough to sit your best running back there.
I guess the start your studs mantra, it's very popular nowadays, especially with the playoffs or et cetera. But
is Barkley has Barkley been team implied total in the week?
Has Barkley been a stud over the last month? Is my question to you.
I feel like it's a rhetorical question. Like you're setting me up for.
Well, that's failure. What I mean. Like, it's start your studs, but is Barkley a stud still? That's my question.
He hasn't played like a stud.
That's what I mean.
He's had 2 RB1 finishes. So he's been studly in week 10 against Houston, who's terrible, and against Washington, who's playing again. Yeah, in the full PPR, he was 19 points against Washington last time he played. And he had 18 carries for 63 yards. So it's a matter of, is he going to work he had a touchdown that game too. It definitely saved the day. I would probably I want to get Pacheco in the lineup, to be honest. Like, I think this is actually a good problem. I don't want to choose either or. I think Pacheco is money in the bank this week. I'm a really big fan of him this week in this matchup. But I've been a fan of Pacheco since the offseason.
If it's half PPR, I think Pacheco is fine. But if it's full PPR, I just keep Barkley in there.
Watched him play at Rutgers here, 25 minutes from my house. I know who the kid is. He's a good kid. Like, and he's fast. He plays hard, and he's everything you want to root for too. And I like that kind of player. And it's great to see him finally getting an opportunity in the last couple of weeks. Cristiano Pisakis. I think he plays in the World Cup. I'm pretty sure I saw that guy. Full PPR. We have start Connor or Cooper/Godwin at the flex this week. I think I play Connor and I play the touches. What do you think?
Yeah, Connor.
Touchdown
Connor smashed last week against one of the best run defenses in the NFL. And now he's playing the Broncos.
Sure did. You guys
So.
were wrong about that too. I just want to say that.
I was pushing back about James Conner. Debro was wrong
Look
about
how
James
mad
Conner.
you got. Debro was wrong about James Conner.
Yeah, I said I wanted the volume.
You did say that. Look at you. So sensitive. I love you, Andrew. Nick Miller. Josh Allen in the snow or Dak? I'm playing Josh Allen.
When this person phrases the question like this, all I see is Josh Allen tucking the ball and running 15 times for like 100 yards. So
Right,
I want that in my lineup.
I see him making snow angels in the end zone. That's what I see Josh Allen doing.
Exactly.
Let's talk about Desmond Ridder. Getting a lot of Falcons questions too in these Superflex leagues where people are saying, look, at the bottom of the barrel at QB, am I rolling out, like I lost Kyler Murray in a Superflex. Am I rolling out Desmond Ridder or am I rolling out a Deonta Foreman or somebody like that?
I'm going to roll with the quarterback. I don't really think it's that super complicated. So I've Desmond Ridder as quarterback 22 in my rankings, which is much higher than ECR. But we've seen this before. The Saints can't stop mobile quarterbacks. This happens all the time. It happened in week 1 with Mariota. Mariota had a monster game in his first game as a Falcon because he runs. And Desmond Ridder can add mobility. And that's why I don't think the Saints are going to be prepared for it. So I think Ridder is a fine guy in Superflex.
I love when people ask you questions and then you answer them and then they go back again like, but really? Or even against this person? Like, no, I didn't realize that they were playing them this week. I sat here for the last
factoring that in.
For the last 5 days, I sat here looking at the schedule, doing all the work we do, doing the 8 million podcasts, the 12,000 live streams. I didn't realize that they were playing the 49ers this week. No kidding, really? I'm going to bro somebody hard. I can tell it's coming. Kenny Stewart, Ken Walker, Pacheco, or Damian Harris in the full PPR. I'm playing Pacheco. This is where Pacheco shines for me.
Yeah, Pacheco.
Much easier. Like Ken Walker, I still got confidence, but Pacheco, I've got more confidence in that total. Must Love Labs. Hi, guys. Happy playoffs. Do I start Dotson or Elijah Moore as my third wide receiver? 12-team half-point PPR. You start Elijah Moore, I think. What do you think?
100%. Elijah Moore.
Yep. All right. Here we go. Next is Joe Endrick. Gotta bench 2.5 PPR. Watson, Barkley, Mike Williams, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Kirk, Mike Evans. Mike Evans is out. Who's the other guy you want to take out? Because I don't want to take out a lot of these guys.
Yeah, Mike Evans is definitely out here. So I guess for me, between the two guys, it's probably between Dobbins and Christian Kirk. It's half PPR. I think I'd probably bench Dobbins just because there is a fear that they don't give him as much work as they did last week. I know it's a good matchup against the Browns, but I think Kirk is a little bit safer with his role. I love Mike Williams this week. Barkley, I think, is pretty safe because he's a bell cow, and then obviously we love Christian Watson. So I would go with benching Dobbins and Mike Evans.
I would agree with that. Akoniel, hi gents, full PPR, Purdy or Tua? Look, I know the Tua matchup is not good, but I can't go for the next 6 months of my life thinking I sat Tua for Brock Purdy from Iowa State. I can't do that. Nope.
Yeah, no, this is where I would draw. I mean, I don't like Tua this week, but not to the point where I would bench him for Brock Purdy. So,
no. Jay Farm, KC or New England defense this week? Who you like?
Kansas City.
Agreed. Raider fan, Denver, Green Bay, or the Jets defense this week?
It's got to be Green Bay, right? Against the Rams. Baker Mayfield.
They are not a good fantasy defense, and neither is Denver. You're gonna laugh at me, but I'm gonna say the Jets defense.
No, well, I think. I think
the Jets. Look, Quentin Williams is a big loss. I'm not gonna lie about that. Like that's. I'm gonna keep it real in that sense. But is Jared Goff good for a pick or two? Possibly.
Baker Mayfield though is. He's so bad.
Look, if you want to play Green Bay, I don't think it's bad. I would play the Jets.
They're playing in Lambeau too, so like that's the thing.
I know. Yeah, it's funny. Everybody told me about, it's gonna be hilarious when Baker Mayfield plays if John Wolford, they pull him from the game or whatever, and then they beat the Raiders on Thursday night. I watched it happen with my own 2 eyes.
The Raiders were playing man coverage against a guy that didn't know about the playbook. They should have just played zone. Oh my god, it's so stupid.
Look. It's fine to play Green Bay. At the end of the day, I think Green Bay and the Jets are both going to be somewhere around 8 or 9 points, to be honest with you. I don't see one of these defenses just like being massive in terms of point total. I don't think that's in the cards. But if we want to play Green Bay, play it safe, play the narrative, go ahead, play the narrative. But I just want to point out, the narrative isn't always a lock. The better defense is the Jets defense. They play good football. And Jared Goff on the road. I mean, all week you've been poo-pooing the Jared Goff. He was your most sittable player, I think, in a video, right? You told me?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's close. I mean, I just think that Baker Mayfield is worse than Jared Goff, though.
I hate when people make me defend the Jets. It's really just it's a tough pill to swallow. Pearl 2019, half PPR pick 2. DeAndre Swift, Cordell Patterson, Dylan or Latavius Murray.
I'm going to play Swift and Patterson.
Swift and Patterson. Yeah, I'm on board with that. Davin Davids, Coleslaw Love, hashtag Team Chris. Gross. Yeah, it's just so weird. I don't know who is like, hey, you know what we should do? What do we got laying around here? We got some cabbage. Okay, hear me out. Let's just chop the hell out of it, right? Let's pickle it. Got any mayonnaise? Awesome. Let's get in there. Get some mayonnaise in there. Let's go. What else is in coleslaw? Am I forgetting here, Chris? Because it just
carrots
and and carrots. And let's shave some carrots into it too. That sounds delicious. Oh, there's a poll out? Oh, I didn't even know that there's a poll because we can't see that. So here we go. The sides poll has officially been put out there by Mike Mayer. Can we? What's the percentages on? Oh, you did it. I apologize. I'm sorry. Usually Mike Mayer does the poll. So what is it? We have a poll going up for the side of KFC. Okay, so we got nice. I gotta tell you, I'm shocked that mac and cheese falling behind. I know people love the KFC gravy. I get that, but a little surprised. Gotta tell you, a little surprised there. What was the coleslaw percent? Negative 9%. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's go to Taylon Davis, half PPR, Hollywood Brown or Deonta Foreman in the flex. I think you play Foreman.
I'm gonna go with Foreman.
All right, Kyle Miller, coleslaw. You're a monster, Kyle. Bench D-Hop or Sun God for Pittman? No.
That would be a negative.
This is where you go and you look at a lineup. You say, okay, these are my good players. These are the talented players. And then you go, oh, this matchup's really good.
Yeah, no.
You can't do that. The matchup's really good for guys who are really close in the same vein.
Yeah.
D-Hop and Amon-Ra are wide receiver ones. Michael Pittman on his best day is not a wide receiver one. Sorry. Yeah, I know everybody wanted that to happen.
Pittman's ceilings are like the D-Hop and Sun God like bad games. So
yeah. Mike Mayer, by the way, sent me the poll here. 273 votes. That's good. I like that we have that going there. But yeah, mac and cheese starting to pull up a little bit just to seeing that too. Mac and cheese, come on, man. Like I know it's not the best mac and cheese, but
oh yeah, no. I mean, just maybe that's the issue is the KFC specific mac and cheese.
Well, the KFC specific mac and cheese. You know what the problem is? It's like if you got there when they just made it, it's good. Yeah. But if you got it if you go there in like an off peak time, it's been sitting there since 3:00 in the afternoon. It's basically mac and cheese paste. Like you could take it, and you could like close up holes, around your house in the garage. You could do that. Let's go to Jacob Giddings. New subscriber. All right, Jacobs, it's never too late in the game to do the right thing. Walker or McKinnon in a standard league?
Walker.
Agreed. 2 for 2. Monday Night Messiah. Yeah, a little Seth Rollins reference there. How would you rank these DSTs this week? Steelers, Packers, and Seahawks. I would go Packers 1, Packers 2, and Packers 3 from this group. That's what I would do.
Yeah. So again, if we're actually going to rank these Packers, Steelers, Seahawks for me.
Yeah, that would be correct. All right, let's go with Christian H. Sit 1 in the standard. Etienne, Kirk, or McLaurin? Who is the odd man out? You going to bench Kirk?
Yeah.
I can't bench Kirk. He's too good. He's been too good this year. I know it's a standard league. Oh, look, man. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to bench Etienne out of these two. I have more faith in Kirk and McLaurin to put up fantasy points this week. I just do. Sean Donahue, would you be comfortable starting Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore? That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Jets.
I don't get why we want pieces of good offenses against bad defenses. And
yes, but if Mike White goes out there and, there's a massive injury again or something happens and then, Joe Flacco comes in, he's a statue and he can't get rid of the football and bad things happen, all of a sudden if bad things happen, you've crushed everything in one spot because you've lost not one guy, but two. So I get the question. I would still start them anyway, but it's not like saying, should I start T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? Like, I think that's different. You know what I mean? It's like, should I start Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf? Yes. This is Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore.
Hey, we could be talking about these guys in that type of ilk next year.
We could. We were also talking about Michael Pittman in this ilk in August, and that didn't happen either. So I want to live in the real world.
He's a top 20 wide receiver.
You're a top 20 wide receiver. Western Goods, David Njoku or Dalton Schultz, full PPR.
Schultz for me.
Really?
This week. Yeah.
This matchup based. Okay, I'm surprised. I thought you were going to go Njoku there.
I mean, I think they're both top 5 guys. I think they're both really good plays.
Okay.
I might even start both of them and flex one of them.
All right, truly epic. If Justin Fields is out, Dak, Mike White, or Deshaun Watson?
Dak, but I'm pretty sure Fields is going to play. He's like sick. I think he's fine.
Ryko Raekwon. Hey guys, Kamara or Zeke? It's Zeke.
Yeah, Zeke's probably safer.
Touchdown machine. Zeke Elliott. Yeah. Kenneth Oko. I miss Purdy, Heineke, or Matt Ryan. Or did I miss Purdy, Heineke, or Matt Ryan? I don't know what that means. Did I miss?
I think he's trying to start one of them. I would start Matt Ryan.
Did I miss? Did I miss Purdy, Heineke, or Matt Ryan? I don't even know.
He may have fat thumbed this one.
I think Kenneth was eating some KFC after partaking of something else and just decided that it was like he was going to ask a question. John O'Keefe, PPR, Amari Cooper, or Michael Pittman Jr.
I'm going with Amari Cooper. He's back at home. This is what we need. Back at the dog pound.
Joe Kahansky Jr., coleslaw all the way. People disgust me. Full PPR, start 3, Walker, Swift, Jamal Williams, or Cooper.
Swift is the odd man out for me.
Swift is the odd man out. Okay. Richard Toth, I love coleslaw. Look at these. Look, we have triggered people here. Chris, it looks like you are not nearly the freak that I thought.
No, we've just awoken all of the coleslaw lovers.
The 9%. This is Chris. You're in the internet fringe of society. I just want you to know that's where you're living right now. Oh, it's like every single person who voted for coleslaw felt the need to also comment in the chat here about how they feel about it. And yeah, and that's the other thing too. Let's keep in mind that Chris is also controlling the questions I see and the comments I see. So for all we know, this could be like this many mashed potato comments, all these other macaroni and cheese, but all he's doing is giving me the coleslaw, which is good for the bit.
This is like for the bit. So much mac and cheese love in the comments that we can't see. Chris is just like, no, trash.
I feel it in my bones. My biscuit people, my gravy. Yeah, but you get this. See, the biscuit's not a side. The biscuit comes with it anyway. So that shouldn't even be in the conversation. But the coleslaw. Richard Toth. Hey guys, playoff bound again. Full PPR. Wide receiver 3. Burks, Hollywood Brown, or Zay Jones?
Burks probably isn't going to play. I would go Zay Jones.
Zay Jones it is. Ryan Betancourt. Coleslaw for sure. Another one. I'm now it's a conspiracy theory. Now that's where we're going. PPR, Etienne or Walker?
Walker I know for me. We disagree here, so I go Etienne.
There you go. Steven, Higgins or Dotson in the full PPR? Did we get an update on Higgins today?
Higgins.
Where's Mike Mayer when you need him?
So, all right. So I want to hit on So Dotson, look, the last time that the Commanders played the Giants, remember that game went into overtime, which is the only reason why Tyler Heineke threw the ball more than he usually does. So do not look at those box scores of Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson and think, oh, well, these guys did really good against the Giants last time. Like, I can play them again. It's like, no. The only Giants receiver you can play is Terry McLaurin. Like, stay away from Dotson and Curtis Samuel.
Anthony Dolce, Pacheco, Knight, Foreman, or Patterson. Pick 2. You get to pick 2. It's Pacheco. And who's the other one?
Pacheco and Knight and Foreman I'm pretty torn on. You like Knight? Yeah.
Knight and Foreman are close. I would play Knight. Again, I'm playing the total in that game. I think that game has, a little bit of scoring upside there for both teams. Even though Jared Goff is outside, I think it's possible. Skilly, coleslaw is a dish best served cold or not at all. Gross. Zolly Fears. By the way, Mike Mayer chimed in too. He said, I would never eat coleslaw and I would prefer that not even be in the building. I'm with you, Mayer. Like it upsets me.
I mean, how far away from coleslaw is like rabbit food? It's like a lot of vegetables, very small.
All I know is that it's also one of those things, and I'm not one of these weird people like that, but if it's touching other food of mine,
Oh.
it leaves like that coleslaw residue where it's just like wet and it's mayo-y and like it ruins everything it touches. It's gross. It's kind of like Nathaniel Hackett. It just ruins everything he touches. That's what it is. All right, let's get to Jack Halton. Bench 2, full PPR. Mike Williams, Chris Olave, Christian Watson, Rashad White, Zonovan Knight, Michael Pittman. Who are the odd men out?
I would probably bench in full PPR. I'd probably bench Knight and Pittman.
Knight and Pittman. I can get on board with that. And now Chris is showing me that I think that because Chris created the poll, he could probably vote more, or people are trolling me and voting more because coleslaw's up to 11% now. That's just people trolling the pod, trolling the show. That's fine, people. That's how you want to go. That's fine. Mashed potatoes still at the top, but just keep in mind the final results: 407 votes, which is spectacular. Love you all. But think about this: like 11%. So basically, 90% of people would rather have anything else than coleslaw. That's the big takeaway from this poll. That's it. And if you took away biscuits, I bet it would even be more absurd. Let's go to Austin Storms. That's a great name, by the way. I think he's a wrestler in the independent circuit. Hi, guys. Thanks for getting me this far. Who do I start? PPR, Ken Walker, Drake London, or Samaje Perine?
Ken Walker.
Agreed. Bonus, Herbert or Fields? Coleslaw is gross. Thank you, Austin.
I really like Herbert this week.
I really do too. This is where we can have a conversation.
I think I've Herbert like third. So, I mean, this is the smash spot for him. I mean, the Titans, they don't let people run the football on them. The Chargers don't want to run the football anyway.
Nope, they want to throw all day.
So
Herbert, I think, is safer because of the health. Herbert is safer and comparable. I think they're both in that 21 to 25 point range in terms of projectability. Fields has the upside for 40, but again, what you don't want is Fields coming out of a game or Fields not being 100% and putting up 15. That variable exists. It's not something I care about when you're saying him or Dak or him or Geno or him or no. But him or Herbert, I don't have to make that call. I don't have to be worried about that. So I'm going with Herbert here. RTD, Latavius Murray, Knight, or McKinnon, full PPR. Who you got?
Knight for me.
Gabe Z, Waddle or Olave in the flex in the full PPR?
Olave.
Taylor Irwin, coleslaw is gross. That's right, Taylor. Start Geno tonight or roll the dice with Mike White. Magic Mike or Geno?
I have them ranked back to back, but I have Geno one spot ahead.
That's the right answer. Ryan Betancourt, coleslaw is my RB1.
That sucks.
But for my RB2, Etienne or Walker. We already know this. Andrew's going to say Etienne. I'm going to say Walker. Cole DePatry, pick 2 in PPR. Walker, Dobbins, Judy, or Montgomery?
I would go with Walker and Judy. Oh, wait, actually, no. I go Walker and Montgomery. Sorry.
Yeah, that's where I thought you'd go here. Just a reminder, too, if you like touchdowns, of course, you could go ahead and join our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat. We have the touchdown contest. You can go premium if you haven't already, but if you're already a premium member, you can go play. $25 gift card to our Fantasy Pros shop where you can go and spend all that $25 on a hat, a t-shirt, something Fantasy Pros related. Go play. It's fun. Maybe you got knocked out of the playoffs. You just want to play some football, have some fun. Go check it out. The Touchdown Call channel over there on our Fantasy Pros Discord, fantasypros.com/chat. I think that's all the questions we have here. So I think we're going to call it a day. I want to thank everybody for their votes, except for those of you who voted for coleslaw. I think you should all re-examine yourself in the next few weeks here leading up to the new year and make some resolutions with yourself to stop eating weird things like that. But in the meantime, best of luck to all of you. You've worked really hard to get here. We've worked really hard to help get you here. We care about your fantasy teams more than we care about ours. That's our job. So we need you guys to go out there, have fun, play hard, and remember, there is no week 16 if you don't win. Let's focus on this. Let's focus on now. For those of you who have the buys, that's fine. That's great. Enjoy life. Don't sit back on your haunches there. Go be proactive. Find the players you can still help get on your roster or block other people there if you need to. Do the things you have to do. Andrew Erickson, any final thoughts or advice you'd like to give everybody for the playoffs?
Yeah, I would say if you're on a bye week, try to look at those stashing of certain players. A guy that I like, Khalil Herbert, is available on a lot of waiver wires because he got dropped, but he's eligible to come off IR. Like Khalil Herbert a lot coming into the year, and he could make some noise down the stretch still. So just keep an eye on the waivers and see if there's people available that you can stash. Defenses looking ahead to week 16, week 17, and making sure you have the best rosters queued up for the upcoming weeks.
All right, this is what you did. Look, you're already a winner because you made it to the playoffs. Crazy things happen, but let's try to get those championships. We got 3 more W's to get. Let's get after it. Let's go, everybody. We're going to show some grit, just like Dan Campbell. Put it in. Fantasy Pros on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fantasy Pros. Chris, special thank you running the stream here. Go get yourself some coleslaw for lunch. Mike Mayer, Fantasy Insider, always giving us some great insight to what's going on and keeping us up to date with everything happening. Go have fun. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Get those W's. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Andrew Erickson, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Fantasy Pros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.